Welcome all. Welcome to Flat Earth Philosophy. We've got some metaphysics going on today. We call it metaphysics, but that's where physics originated from till they started twisting it. So we're going to talk about what the Earth looks like, how it works, how the sun moves around the Earth, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Egyptian Book of the Dead. So I'll just read a few passages from the book and then we'll get back into this drawing over the back here. Explain it all to you. Okay, we're up to 90, I'll just start from 91, the Book of the Dead, page 91. I've just underlined some parts, I'll just read them out. Never resting stars, singing hymns of praise unto thee, and the stars that never set, glorify thee as thou sinkst in the horizon. Well, for starters, he's telling you the stars they're not fixed, are they? The background stars, they're always moving, and on their spinning ball globe model, if the Earth's moving, do they have the stars fixed? Yeah, in their system they do. In a practical sense, in theory they might have them moving, but think about it, their ball's turning so the stars will stay there and the ball's turning. When in reality the Earth is fixed and the stars are moving. They're all curving in the magnetic field. I'll get into that in a minute. So all the ancients, they all knew exactly how it all worked. I'm going to explain it all to you. It'll make sense up here. The science method doesn't make sense, so they have to make complicated equations just to confuse you all. And here we have they sink in the horizon. So we're going to talk about the horizon. What is the horizon? It's the individual man's arc of horizon. And it goes on, O thou who art beautiful in the two parts of heaven. There's two parts. There's a southern hemisphere and a northern hemisphere. Been over plenty of that in my videos. Thou Lord who gives and art established. Thou rises, shines upon the back of thy mother. I didn't quite get that one. Back of the mother. Everlasting and never changing order embraces thee at morning and evening. That was talking about the stars again. Always coming back. So only change over millions of years as they slowly wind up in the vortex, the center vortex of creation, the event horizon, science calls it. Goes forth and sailing along, it comes into port, talking about the sun and the solar boat, the gods of the south and of the north, of the west and of the east praise thee. O thou only one who lives in heaven, therefore ever blah blah blah. Down here what have we got? We've got the teller of the divine offerings of all the gods, the overseer of the granary of the Lord of Abydos, the center of creation. See the vortex here. This is what the flail and crook is all about. The flail, you're whipping it like this, threshing we call it the wheat or whatever they call it. You go like that, you're creating a bit of a spiraling effect, aren't you? That's what the crook, the flail represents. And the teller of the divine offerings of all the gods, the overseer of the granary of the lords of Abydos. Abydos is the center of creation, Abydos. The storehouse for threshold grain. The flail, that's where the flail comes in, the crook and flail. And because this vortex is turning like this, the crook it's like pulling a tornado. You hook the tornado, you pull it this way and that. You know how tornadoes move across the land. The solar litany, a hymn of praise O Osiris, Lord of eternity, Unifer, Horus of the two horizons, morning and evening, whose forms are manifold, whose creations are without number. Creations that were without number, because every man has his own arc of horizon. He is here at 90 degrees to zenith. He moves, his arc moves with him. And it's all described in here about, you all get your image. Anyway, Horus of the horizon, who forms of manifolds, whose forms are manifold, whose creations are without number, because they're everywhere. Every man has his own. It's his perspective of the sky and stuff. Only the Lord of the Ark of Tomb. And they're calling it a tomb. You're in your tomb. And the creator of Memphis and of the gods, the guide of the underworld. Thou turns thy face upon Amente. Thou makes the world shine as with smooth metal. Smooth metal. Moving along. Horus, thou dweller in both horizons, with long strides. Horizon, see? The sun coming up, making a long stride across his horizon. Imagine the moon. So the belly button of the moon is there. The belly button ends up like this because it's moving over. That's exactly how it's seen. Moving over like that. You can't deny any of this stuff. You can see it with your own eyes, and it makes sense up here. O thou who dwells in both horizons. Okay, comes up in your horizon, sets in your horizon. Man is in the middle here. Homage to thee, O thou who art mighty in thine hour. We've talked a lot about that in the hour, the alignment between the two rotations, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere star rotations. This alignment in the middle of the night, man's alignment. This is where this whole divine story comes into it. Homage to thee, O thou who rents upon right and truth. The awoken man knows the truth. Homage to thee, O creator of the gods, thou king of the north and the south, Osiris, victorious, ruler of the world in thy gracious season. There's always two seasons they mention, because they're the two springs either side. This is why we get pictures like that. There's one up here. Here. They could both sides of the sun's inner lemma. See, it's the sun's inner lemma that. Both sides represent the two snakes, the two forces, or the two springs. Either side on the zodiac. This man's awakening only happens in spring. That's as far as I got there. That's probably enough of that. Now we'll get into the pictures, into the juicy stuff. So, centre of creation in the centre Arctic, above the Arctic, the place of inaccessibility, beyond the event horizon. We're out here. All this is happening outside of our field. Dead centre, choke point right in there. Man can never see it. But all the action's happening in there, and as it turns, it projects all the images out into our realm. Okay? So what's happening is you've got this field coming in off the Arctic centre, comes up, shoots up into here, and you have the downward field coming out of the tropics. It's like the umbilical cord. It's still attached to creation. The created out here, right out here in the tropical zone, that it's like an umbilical cord. The sun feeds back into the real sun. Because that's the other force, the other field that comes in. to create perfection. So that's where creation, that's God, that's the triangles, the diamond, perfection. But the sun is not down here, it's slightly off. Because you have to imagine it's like all based on resonant frequencies or something. And it's all amplified up in the vortex. And the amplification, all the tunes, create the sun, which is all the frequencies of creation. Bang, there. And then when you think about it, you think of the female organs, where the baby's created maybe, and you look at where the egg comes in, the egg gets fertilised just off centre, doesn't it? Same sort of thing. Bear in mind, all this turns, so that this whole thing swings around, because the whole vortex is turning. So this umbilical cord, that's swinging around in the vortex as well. That's your daily shift, because the sun swings around the earth. So earth is probably more electrical. This is a current electrical system flowing around here, and what's coming off it is the magnetic field perpendicular. The loops, you could say this is, the loops, well this is the loop. The magnetic fields, how they curl in like this, curl up from the centre and curl in like this. Well, there's the highlighted, the bigger version there. You've got one field, this one's swinging in around this way, and this field swings around this way. So there's the two opposing forces that create electricity. There's always a counter force. They call the electrons, don't they? Call the electrons in the electrical field, and they call the electrons in the magnetic field. There should be a separation, it should be a different name. But this is the magnetic field flow that comes out of the south, and the flow that comes out of the north, centre north. And they're basically mirrored. As all the celestial bodies we see in the south, they swing out from the south, because it's basically like this, curls out and comes around like that. And in the north, it's curled in here and swings around like that. But the southern field is much bigger. I haven't got this to scale. It's a lot smaller. It's a choke point in here. This is why we get the sun dilemma looking like this. You think of that musical thing like this too. Hey, it all comes from that. They all knew this stuff way back in the day. It's all about frequencies, solar luminescence. So the magnetic field does this, it's coming over positive, down through the tropics, across the earth, under the earth, through the earth, negative, comes up over again, positive, down, negative through the earth, back up and over. So it's positive, negative, changing magnetic field, creates electrical, and this electrical, moving electrical field creates the magnetic field. So in our flat earth we have an arc, a meridian from the centre north over to here is a nice arc. And it's divided in here into tropical gap. It's a tropical gap there. You've got a magnetic field that comes up and goes down like this, and that comes up and goes down like this. So science wants you to think that this is a complete ball, and the magnetic field flows all the way over that way, or all the way over that way. They don't know there's a slight gap here. I can move these fields right in. There's a slight gap. They don't pass over, they come down through the earth. They're starting to realise this now. They can't debunk me. They can't answer me. When I come up with all these questions, they just don't answer me. So that's the whole system there, guys. Realise there's an arc. Earth has the arc of a meridian. Man has an arc of horizon. That's basically his meridian. But it's 360 degrees all around him, up to his horizon. And if you look down on it, a plan view down on it, and the star motions over 24 hours, this is what you're looking at. So man is sort of here, say. This is his night time. He'll see all the stars move across his arc of horizon, right? Just like this. When he looks up, it just appears to look straight. But this is how it's working. You're going across his arc of horizon. This is the day side, night side. This is the day side. So he doesn't see the day side and the night at the same time, does he? So these stars he's seeing moving over his arc of horizon end up going around here on the day side where no one sees them. Unless you're on the other side of the world, because it'll be dark over there. No, it won't be. Or when it moves around. Okay, dark here, light here, sun here. The sun's basically in here. Sun's basically here somewhere. The stars you see go across the sky at night, and then they loop around and then come out like this again. You see them again. Because you've got this loop system going on in here. This vortex, it's like an auger. But it's fixed, so magnetically locked. So there's only a small portion. I've drawn the whole vortex here, but it's just a 2.5 day system. No, it's not. Forget that. That's a different story. So they wind up and then wind back down. Wind up, wind back down. Wind up, wind back down. It's magnetically locked inside this vortex here. And that's where the ecliptic plane is, in there. In here, right? So you've got to realise all these background stars and the green lines here are separate to the ecliptic plane. Now I've described the ecliptic plane over the years as the wings, these wings, because that's up and in, northern solstice, down and out is the southern solstice. See, the sun's in the middle, the sun is in the middle, and the ecliptic plane goes up and down. Does this. Up and in, down and out. That's the seasonal changes. This vortex doesn't move. It's not like a tornado on Earth where it moves around the place. It'll turn, but it doesn't move left or right. It stays fixed. It's magnetically locked by pressure in dead centre of this whole field in the north. So there you have it, the wings, and they represent all the frequencies happening in our realm. We've got Horus here, which shows an overlay. See that in the overlay in the when you think of an auger. One flange overlaying the other flange. You don't see them both levels in once. You know what I mean? In this winding. There's a day side, there's a night side maybe. The part you don't see it, so it's lapped underneath it. Horus, that's his, you've got to realise Horus is the centre of your brain. That thing there, that what do they call it? Colostrum. Oh no. Colostrum. Something like that. Up there in the centre of your brain. And that represents the ground, the magnetic field coming off the ground. There's the Sundanalema, the crossing of the Sundanalema. That's what gives you eternal life, because that's the 6th of September, 6th of March or September there, right at the crossing. Just before the equinox of the Earth's Sun's equilibrium. You've got the Sundanalema here. You've got new growth, probably representing spring, that happens in spring. You've got the cup of water that comes with it. That's the anointing oil that happens in your divine awakening. It's all described. Man's purpose in life is reason. That's why this is all shown to us. The meaning of life, waking up, rebirth. It's juicy, very juicy in this Book of the Dead. Start off a bit funny, then it winds into the real McCoy, the real stuff, hardcore. It's amazing. Probably enough on that. So what have we got here? See the magnetic fields that wind around the sun. Where's that? There is one. You find two snakes on either side of the sun. That's the two forces, the counter forces that create this sun. This is action. It's the weak force and the strong force racing to find equilibrium, you see. And what happens is sun finds equilibrium, which creates the black hole, creates creation, the earth, feeds the earth, and the friction is the action that creates the light, the sun. Because I haven't drawn it here, but vertically looking down the sides of the tropics, you got the, oh here it is here. This is the friction. You've got an upward flow inside here, or up to the middle here, and you've got this downward magnetic field flowing down this way. It's all sitting vertical in there, right? It's this friction here, see? Male and female again, represented as the male in here, the female out here. That's what creates the sun. So as the sun's moving around, it's all rushing into the sun. That's why that science tells you some goes into the sun, some of these electrons don't, or photons don't, because they're all still moving around here. Only these ones come into the sun where the sun is. They'll wind in around the sun as the sun moves around. So you've only got half as daytime anyway. So realising the meridian on Earth, man's meridian is the arc of horizon. That's the way the celestial bodies move. The sun, planets, moon will always swing like this. Man is always zenith, or 90 degrees to zenith, because everything comes back to him like this, perpendicular from that arc. All observed with your eyes. You don't need any stupid, complicated scientific equations or geometry that take flipping a whole A4 book to describe. It's all there, guys. And there's the sun. This is how the sun works. It's projected out of the centre north into our image out here, because centre of creation that we do not see is this is the circle centre of the vortex, the exploded image, the torus field from the hyperboloid. Basically the hyperboloid in here expressed out creates the toroidal field, and then it becomes this big exploded image. That little in there becomes this ecliptic plane up there. That's now the ecliptic plane out here. So this is the dielectric, the capacitor, the insulator plate, the colloidal field, the friction on both sides. Anyway, the sun protects